Hi, I'm Feculator and I'm going to talk about the number one most common and biggest mistake I see being made by new players to Gigantic. Not withdrawing from a fight. It seems to me that as beginners play, they are constantly going forward, hitting stuff, occasionally checking if they should fall back. This is the exact reverse of the mentality you should have. You should be constantly in a state of retreat, checking to see if you should go forward. Gigantic has a lot of momentum-based gameplay, and not just in terms of the physics engine. If you don't have momentum for the things you do in the game, they'll likely fail, and this includes falling back. Look at this, your stamina bar. It's like a little blue stick of momentum. When you have stamina, you can dodge a lot of damage, dive into cover, outrun melee attackers, or move to another part of the map very quickly. When you do not have stamina, say because you used it all in a fight you should have fell back from, you'll be slow and easy to kill, and you won't be able to react to events elsewhere. Now look at this, your brain. When I said you should be in a state of retreat, I was referring to a state of mind you can apply even if you are not at the moment retreating. If you are thinking one step ahead, if you have an escape plan, even as you are attacking, when it comes to actually escaping, you'll be able to escape much faster because you have momentum in your mind. So, when should you fall back? Obviously, there's many factors in making that decision, but the two most important ones can be seen right up here. Number 1. The power race. Do you have a significant power advantage? If yes, then play safe, don't overextend, stick with buddies, be ready to run away to safety. Number 2. The respawn timers. In case you didn't know, the general idea behind respawns in this game is that people respawn together. Here's how it works specifically. If a person dies, they get a respawn time of about 8 to 15 seconds depending on how far the match has progressed. If another teammate dies while the first one is still spawning, 5 seconds get added to the timer and they spawn together. If the last 5th teammate dies, 10 seconds get added to the timer and they spawn together. You can see it's the same theme of momentum. Killing a bunch of enemies gives you momentum, but when they all spawn together as a group, they will have momentum. So, in practice, in a team fight, if you get a couple of kills, it's okay to keep going. If they got a couple of kills, you should already be on your way out. If you're the last one alive, you should be doing everything possible to stay alive, to avoid the 10-second penalty. Here's the sound cue for getting an enemy kill. And here's the sound cue for losing a teammate. In time, you'll respond to these without thinking. After the fight, check the respawn times and who's left alive. If you have a numbers advantage and over 10 seconds, it's okay to go for a nearby creature. If the whole enemy team is going to spawn in 5 seconds, you should be finishing up whatever you're doing and on your way to safety. The next important thing that helps you decide if you should fall back is right here, the minimap. Check it often. If there's only 2 of you trying to take a creature and you can see 5 enemies coming for you, leave. Even more importantly, check your teammate's position. If you are the only one in enemy territory with your 4 buddies in base, you should probably fall back. Only some heroes in some situations are an exception to this. It's also important to know where teammates are because they have a big role in falling back correctly. You almost always want to fall back with your team or toward your team, even if it's not the most optimal route to friendly territory. Being alone after you used up all your momentum usually means death. The 4th most important thing to factor in is right here. Your health and what's in front of you. Yeah, duh, right? Well, some hero matchups are extremely one-sided, and you'll only learn at the cost of time and deaths that some fights you shouldn't even allow to start. I will try to save you some of that time with this quick and dirty list of things that should immediately set you on edge and save your resources. A trip that has cloaked nearby. A Knossos with glowing spears in melee range. A Mozu with full fire rate shooting from a distance. A Wu near his teammates that is standing still periodically and looking at you. In general, losing half your health in 1 second without making a dent in the enemy. Chances are you'll lose the rest of your health in the next second unless you do something invasive. To close off with, I'm going to give a few specific examples with mostly Voden, who is very easy to employ these tips with the use of his jump pad and clone. Example A. We have the rampage, and obviously I want to go for wound, but they have full shield and health and they're all defending. It's easy for them to wipe us here, and likely that I'll be the last one alive, so even as I'm going in, I'm in that state of retreat. Before I even get there and start shooting, I wait to regen some stamina. I'm shooting from max distance, near cover, making sure to keep an escape skill or two off cooldown. If my teammates die quicker than expected and I start getting focused, I cut my losses and run. Example B. We have just won a fight at an enemy creature, but 2 enemies are alive and well, and respawn is due in 8 seconds. Had we wiped them, we'd have time to take another creature and not get punished. But as it is now, even if we would have an advantage for a few seconds at that fight, I know the enemy is likely to come down on us like a ton of bricks, so I'm not going in, and committing very little even if I want to back up a less cautious teammate. Example C. We have the rampage again, but going for a wound will be difficult. I look for a piece of cover to hide behind to regenerate myself before moving in, so I can do as much damage as possible and have a good chance of getting away. Example D. There is a Gnosis with glowing spears running toward me. I leave. So, that's it from me, thanks for listening and good luck in your games.